And the Imperial County Labor Council has a concern with this because with a charter city, there's generally less accountability than there is under a general law city. For example, in a charter city, the council actually sets their own salaries. They determine that themselves with no real oversight, whereas in a general law city, there are specific guidelines for that type of work. Also, charter cities have no required protections for worker-owned public works projects. And what happens is, oftentimes local workers will be put at a disadvantage because it creates a incentive for developers and business interests to bring workers from Arizona or Mexico over here to do the work instead of having local people do that work. So we're hoping that if the voters did decide to become a charter city, that the city council would make sure that they put in requirements that would protect those workers and protect prevailing wage laws in any kind of charter city that they would take to the voters. The second thing, should El Centro hold district elections for council seats? And we believe this is yes, because it will add extra diversity to the city council seats. It creates greater input from specific areas so that communities feel like they have more stake in their city government. And that will increase involvement in your city government when you feel like you have a specific area and you have a specific stake in that. Should El Centro City Council elections be changed from odd to even years? We agree with the task force on this. We think that moving it to even years, again, will bring greater turnout from the community. It will give them more incentives to be a part of their city government and help people achieve more that way. And then the final thing is, should the process of selecting a mayor be changed? And on this one, we actually think that the council should vote on this. We think that the 2 years will bring a increased consistency that you spoke of when you talked about the task force to that position. That would help them set a larger strategic plan. And we don't think that you should move it to elections. Elections will be costly. And I don't know that they'll necessarily improve a whole lot based on the consistency you'll get by having the council vote for someone for the 2-year terms. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Daniel?
Okay.
Okay.
My name is Daniel Machine. I'm a representative of the International Movement of Electrical Workers. We're on the construction side of it, not the lineman or the utility. I'm also president of Imperial County Building Trades and Construction Council. Basically, I'm here to speak on the charter. Not being a charter because of and the disadvantage that you put all the contractors in. For those of you that understand what the prevailing wage is, it's basically whatever a union member is making on the state of California or for that area. By you taking that prevailing wage away, you put the people that are actually bidding and paying their employees a health care, pension, or training benefits, you're putting them out of the bidding process. For us, we have invested a lot of money in Imperial County. We just purchased a year ago a building in Imperial County. We have been training for a lot of years here, but we're actually bringing more people in for training for them to learn the proper way on how to do the proper installations on the electrical, how to set up the meters, everything else that has to do with the buildings on a safe manner. So on that investment that we're making, it's not like we do a bunch of work for the city of Centro, but then again, you bring those apprentices, the new people that are coming behind, that is going to give you the ability to say, okay, Imperial County has trained and skilled people now. You tell me how many apprenticeship programs you have in Imperial County. Trust me, not that many. We're one of the first ones that are actually training here in Imperial County. And, but at the same fact, we're looking at the rest of the trade is trying to get more apprenticeship programs over here. I feel like we represent 16 unions, and we're pushing to get all of those people over here because we believe that the Imperial County people deserve the training that everybody else is getting. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. I don't want to get into the debate. I want to make a point of clarification, just so that it's clear. Two things that I think are important that have been brought up. One is that I want to go back to what I said earlier. The prevailing wage issue only comes into play if you're using local dollars. If you are using any state funds or any federal funds to do any road projects or any building project, it doesn't apply. And the second thing, Mr. Mintz suggested, and I don't know if you're going to have an opportunity when you come to the council, but you can, when you speak against the charter, I think Mr. Mintz said it best, you can write a prevailing wage chapter into your charter. So I think there's other issues with the charter that I think the council will fully discuss. And the points that have been raised by some members of the groups here, valid points that need to be discussed, but I just want to clarify a point. You can go to a city charter and write a prevailing wage amendment into the charter, which would, I think, solve a lot of the concerns we've seen in that regard and still have a charter city. I don't want to right or wrong, we'll discuss that fully as a council, but I just wanted that clarification. Edward Bennett?
Cheers on too, so I can see. And you'll have to excuse me, I thought this was a council meeting instead of a task force meeting, but this be addressed in the testimony that the council will review, is that right? Just want to packet. Well, here's 5 copies of the Economic Policy Institute briefing papers, which is in regards to prevailing wage and government contract costs, a review and research, which we'd like the council to receive. Okay. 5. 6. Just any number. 7. What do you got?
That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
No, that's not 7. It's also got 2. It's got my card as well as the Secretary Treasurer Shirley Mays' card on it also. In my remarks, and you're exactly right, prevailing wage status is what this group, the building trades, is here to discuss. Even though, unfortunately, we did not know in October the task force was going over this. Had we have known sooner, we hopefully would have been a better participant. And I think one of the current speakers spoke that, unfortunately, in reading who you had, which was a very diverse group, you did not have labor involved in it, which I think is an important point, especially with your labor and who is the workforce that you have in the community of El Centro. My name is Eddie Barnes. I'm the Southern Regional Director of the State Building and Construction Trades Council of California. The council represents 14 crafts and trade unions with approximately 325,000 members statewide, including members who live in El Centro and San Diego. I have provided the council with summaries of 15 studies of prevailing wage, their effect on labor costs in the economy, which are complete between 1996 and 2001. I'd like to elaborate there because we had a charter city, Irvine. I point out that charter city. I don't know if you went to that charter city review. In their Great Park, they didn't have prevailing wage instituted in building the Great Park. It was a $1 billion project. The first contractor they hired came up, didn't finish the project. They didn't have a prerequisites for their construction. They ended up getting another contractor. That city chose to go in charter, and you're exactly right. Under their public work projects, it's important that you have prevailing wage increments in there so that they have an apprenticeship program, they have some type of training for the young people. Today, across the board, 30% of our kids are dropping out in the state in 10th grade. And in the inner cities, it's 50 to 60%. Education-wise, we need to make sure that they're getting well educated to know. Hopefully, they all go to college. But unfortunately, the real fact is 75% are not going to college. We want that 75% to have an opportunity to make a good living, have health care, and benefits. That's what prevailing wage does for your community. It gives the young people in the community the opportunity to be as part of the skilled trades and labor, as well as those adults out there trying to find some other work and especially in the prices that we're at today,